I want to bring in Robin Duma, who was also an eyewitness, lives in the neighborhood. And you heard police talking in the backyard. Robin, what did you hear?
Yes, as my neighbor said, when they told us we could go out, quite a few people did that. But within minutes, the police really descended on the neighborhood, and we had quite a few of them in our backyard. And we heard them saying that he was poking holes through the plastic, that shrink wrap on the boat, and looked like he was trying to, assess what was going on, see what was going on around him.
So let me understand, the policeman was poking holes in it trying to understand, or the suspect was inside?
The suspect, he was in the boat poking holes to try to see out.
This is what you heard police say?
Yes.
Which would indicate, and we had not heard this before, that he might have still been alive when they came up, and when, as we know, there was that exchange of gunfire. Anything else you saw or heard about that moment?
No, I mean, really, it was just overhearing them. We've tried to hear what the, the police radios are saying, but it's a little bit difficult. There was quite a bit of gunfire, which actually happened before we overheard the police officers talking. There was just a rush down the street of all the vehicles, and just now they actually brought an ambulance down the street and an enormous black special unit truck. But initially they all came rushing down the street, and then there was quite a bit of gunfire. And then there was really nothing. We heard the police officers speaking, and then a little while, well, quite a while later, there were several explosions, and then some more gunfire. And now, really, for the last little while, not much seems to be going on. The helicopters have left, but these larger, well, one ambulance and a larger big black truck just came down the street.
Well, again, it's such vivid detail that you're all giving us from phoning in, and we thank each and every one of you. But let me go through that again. You say there was gunfire, then something that sounded explosive, and then gunfire again?
Initially, there was a lot of gunfire, so we were told, go outside. Quite a few people did. I would say about 4 minutes later, the police came rushing down the street. Then there was quite a bit of gunfire right when they all arrived. Then really not much of anything for a while. We then overheard the police officers in our backyard talking about this poking holes through the plastic. And then I would say a good 45 minutes, hour later, there was more gunfire and what sounded like 3 small explosions. I mean, we're about 4 houses away. That's what it sounded like to me. And now there's really, I haven't heard any explosions or gunfire or anything like that for, I'd say, about another 45 minutes, hour at this point.
Well, again, it raises the question if there was any explosive around that police were trying to detonate. We will obviously have all this clarified as time goes on, but give me a sense. You must have been in your house. There was fear enough. When all of this starts happening, how afraid were you?
It actually started last night at about 1:45 a.m. There were helicopters. It's a very quiet neighborhood, and the helicopters came over, and I thought, okay, fine, there's a helicopter, but it was obviously something much more than that. When I went to the window, I could see officers moving through the neighborhood with flashlights. And it was very, very unnerving, and I really didn't fall asleep after that. We've all actually been up since that time. And over the course of the day today, it kind of waned. I mean, there were times when it felt more stressful and other times when people seemed to back off a bit. This has heightened the stress, and, but it's kind of just a wearing, stressful experience. The neighborhood has a lot of barns, old outbuildings, garages, sheds and such, and I have to admit, even when I heard the police saying, they felt confident they'd done a thorough search, I had questions because I know just the nature of the neighborhood and all these outbuildings, and wondered really if they had managed to go into all the nooks and crannies.
I think there will be a lot of people asking questions just like that tomorrow, and one of those indelible details of about the humanity involved in what has been happening. As you say, the neighbors had just brought home a 4-day-old infant?
Yeah. Yes, my next-door neighbors have a newborn. He came home on, I've kind of lost track of time. It was either Wednesday or Thursday, so he's just new to the world. And so, you know, I have no doubt. We've been texting back and forth. I haven't heard from them for the last few hours, but, you know, I'm just imagining it's a pretty stressful situation to have a baby and have all of this going on, you know, just outside.
And have you heard about the Hannaberries? Any thoughts about them tonight?
No, I mean, we all know. You know, I have to admit, I don't know that I know all my neighbors' last names. We all know each other by first name. It's a very close-knit neighborhood. There are folks here who have been here as they have for a very long time, and then I've been here for about 11 years. But we all know each other pretty well.
And
Dave?
Know,
we can't go.
Dave was his first name.
Yeah, yeah. So I know the family, and I know, I mean, my 14-year-old said, oh, my gosh, you know, it's that boat. And, you know, and I had even said earlier today, not about that boat, but we live right near the Charles River, and there is a yacht club that has all the boats shrink-wrapped. And I said, thinking aloud this morning, I said, you know, I wonder if they've gone through all of those boats, because there are, you know, 50 or 60 of them, and if I was running away, I'd think to go in that direction and hide in one of those shrink-wrap boats. So it's kind of, you know, interesting that that's where he was, not at the yacht club, but just down the street.
Well, again, we know there is the fog of information right now, but you did think that you overheard police in the backyard talking about the suspect perhaps trying to look out of this covering that was on that boat, and we will try to verify that throughout this evening. But yeah. I also read a quote from you. You said, "I've never felt safer in my life. Every officer in the universe is here with me now."
Well, I said that friends of, I mean, as you might imagine, my parents, you know, friends, everyone in the world is texting and calling, even people I haven't heard from in years. And I did say kiddingly, you know, how could you not feel safe? Our house is absolutely surrounded by every law enforcement officer in the universe. So it was a little tongue-in-cheek. I think I'll feel a lot better once we know, you know, this is over.
Well, Robin, stay in touch with us, please. Call us again if you hear or see something else. Please do.
Okay, thanks very much.